and said, "Hi." And he gave me this big energetic, "Hi, how are you?" And of course, I reciprocate with the same, "How are you?" "I'm doing fine." Come along with me as I walk to the beach while I tell you all this story about how I pivoted and made a change in my life. Well, first, let me say I'm not here to find a relationship. My goal in coming to Thailand was to reverse my type 2 diabetes and learn some skills to take back to the US with me. However, one of the things we do while we're here in Thailand, when we meet another foreigner, especially one that looks like they could be related to us, somebody that we have something in common with, is we say hi. And of course, one day I'm in the mall and I see this guy and I say hi to him as customary. And he turned around with such great enthusiasm.
And said, "Hi."
And he gave me this big energetic, "Hi, how are you?" And of course, I reciprocate with the same, "How are you?" "I'm doing fine." Obviously, one of the questions that you get asked here when you meet somebody that you seem to have something in common with is, "Where are you from?" And once you state what country you're from, they proceed to ask you what state. Turns out he was from Florida as well, not the same area as mine, but close enough. And that was enough to get us going in another conversation. As we spoke to each other, we realized that we both had accents. So we asked each other, "Where are you from? Where are you from?" Turns out he's from the Caribbean, and I let him know that I'm from Guyana and Barbados at the same time. So that was something else we had in common. At that point, he invited me to have lunch with him, since we was having such a good conversation that we should finish up the conversation. Of course, I pivoted. I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And that was my first pivot. And then because he didn't know the place, I picked out the restaurant, and I picked a nice steak restaurant. Anyway, we sat, we dined, we started conversating more. Found out that he is getting a divorce, or so he says, because you know how those stories go already. I told him I was a widow, but the main thing is that I was here to reverse my type 2 diabetes. He admitted that he himself was suffering from type 2. So that was something else, again, we had in common. Oh, I'm going to interrupt for a moment. I can see the ocean has come back up. Yesterday, it wasn't that bad. Yesterday, they had some space, but it looked like it rose a little higher. I'll get back to the story in a minute. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to walk. This water sometimes has a tendency to raise very high. Look at the difference between these two, how high this water can raise. So no, I'm not going to do it today. So let's get back to the story. I'm going to go sit down on my favorite bench and I'll talk from there. So anyway, we're back to, we both realized that we have something more in common, which is the type 2. And I told him about my success. And of course, the conversation steered in that direction. Wow, you've had that success. And of course, I'm going to help him now. And after we finish eating, I decide to pivot even more. Rather than continue going to my nail shop that I was supposed to be going to, I wound it up taking him to the market so that he could have bought the things that he needed to buy in order to help him reverse the type 2 diabetes. In our conversation, we wind up discovering that we both play pickleball. Well, he loved pickleball. I had played it before, but he reintroduced me back to the notion of playing pickleball. Anyway, we both pivoted that day. We went off completely from what we were normally doing and decided we were going to hang with each other the entire day. So I spent most of the afternoon going over the benefits of the different things that he was buying, the strategies that he needed to use in order to win and defeat this disease. Then he decided he wanted to buy a pair of sneakers. We went off, bought the pair of sneakers. At this point, he's hungry, I'm hungry. So again, he requested for me to find us a restaurant. I took him to my favorite restaurant, The Sky. As you guys have seen me up there, I love The Sky. We had a very good time. We liked it. We ended the afternoon saying, hey, we both had such a great time. We pivot from all the things that we normally do to doing something else. So that was it for that day. Next day, we made the decision that we're going to go out and play pickleball. We got to the mall. At this point, we didn't have a racket, so he decided, hey, let's go buy a racket. It costs a little bit, but he said, hey, let's do what it is we have to do. And he bought the rackets, 2 rackets for both of us to play with, and we went off and played pickleball. We spent most of the day together between playing pickleball, going out to lunch, and going out to dinner. So again, I pivoted and So let me stop here and tell you that he was actually here on vacation. He came from Bangkok, where he came for an event and decided to come into Hua Hin and spend his vacation. His plan was to go on to Phuket, but that third day he came and he said, "Hey, I'm going to pivot now, and I am not going to Phuket. I'm going to stay here and spend time with a nice person like you that I've met." So basically, he wasn't staying with me. He was staying in his own hotel, but at least we could have fun and enjoy each other's time together. Anyway, the moral of this story is don't be afraid sometimes to pivot in anything in life. And that can be in business, in relationships, in friendships, that sort of thing. If I had not stopped that day to take the time to pivot and to spend some time with that man, I would not have been able to make an impact in his life in terms of his diabetes and helping him reverse, because now he's on the track to doing the same thing, as well as him helping me now to make a decision to play pickleball. I wanted to switch from doing Muay Thai, but I did not know what to do. And here somebody came along in my life and helped me to make that decision, because now that is my thing. I'm a pickleball player, and he's given me the equipment and the things that I needed. So I'm glad I did pivot that day. I'm glad that he did pivot and stayed here as well. His time was up and he had to leave. And the odds are we're never ever going to see each other again in our lives, but we both made a positive impact in each other's lives. So anyway, I hope somebody gets something from out of this story. Like, follow, and share so that you can continue to hear stories of my journey here in Thailand.